Hello, good morning, everyone. Apologies for the delay. We had some technical issues with Livestorm. Really apologies. We were trying to solve them in these 10 minutes. Thank you so much for those ones that stayed. Indeed, we really apologize. We're sorry for the wait, but thank you so much for staying and thank you so much for joining today's webinar here at First Ignite. My name is Davide. I'm the director of the partnership for the EMEA market. And indeed, First Ignite, I bet like most of you are already familiar with what we do, but First Ignite is an AI platform for anything related to collaborations around research, from valorization to tech transfer to commercialization. So indeed, today's webinar, I will show you a bit how First Ignite platform works and the main tools that our partners across the globe, across the world, are using our platform in order to achieve great results, in order to triplicate on average. That's what they achieve over the first year of collaborating with First Ignite, triplicating the opportunities they create, licensing opportunities, collaborations. So indeed, one of the most important challenges nowadays is bridging the research output to the industry, to the market. And that's indeed what First Ignite can help you doing, because indeed we know that according to statistics in Europe, in the United States as well, like 15% of the research goes to the market, goes to the industry, which is a very, very low percentage. We are trying to create solid and efficiently bridges between industry and research. So automating your manual work, making it more efficient. Indeed, I'm going to share my screen and present to you our First Ignite platform. If you have any questions, I will be reading the chat throughout this demonstration. So feel free to drop any comments in the chat. Actually, like if you can give me a quick Chase is typing. Can everyone hear me? Can you give me like a quick signal if you can hear me? Yes, it's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mir. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Noemi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I will share my screen and start with the demo. Indeed, feel free to call me anytime. Like if you have any questions, I will read the chat and we can indeed discuss use cases or questions that you may have. I will share my screen right now. And what you're going to see first is not actually our platform. It's just the example that I'm going to use for today's demo. It's actually an article that I selected today as just an example. All we need to use First Ignite is just a description of an initiative. It could be anything. It could be basically innovation disclosure. It could be a patent description. It could be a startup technology solution, anything that your teams are working on. So I will go ahead and select this text here, basically just copying the abstract, but this text could be anything. It could be indeed something that you write yourself. It can be technology, even a document, because as you can see here in most of our tools, Tech Assessment, Autopilot, which are our main, let's say, valorization and commercialization tools within the platform, you can also upload a full file. So uploading a technical document, uploading a patent would ease your work. Let me give you a brief introduction indeed to First Ignite platform. As you can see, we have many different tools here on the left. This is our software as a service. So we have Tech Assessment, as I mentioned before. This tool is very powerful to identify the potential of your initiatives in terms of market, in terms of patentability. We will see that after in detail. And here below, you can find also, for example, Autopilot. Autopilot is our main tool for creating a full marketing campaign, starting from scratch, starting indeed from an initiative and identifying all ideal partners for your initiative, for licensing, funding, sponsoring your research, and so on. Here below, we have many different prospecting tools that we can touch on if you like later on. Here at the top, you can also see two new tools that we indeed released across the last months. For example, Agents was released in December 2025. Agent basically will do everything that our Autopilot does in even a more automated way, basically prospecting automatically on your behalf, depending on your initiative. CRM, I will give you also a very quick tour of CRM later on. Basically, it's fully integrated with all our AI solution, where you can track your contacts that you create through First Ignite and deals opportunities that indeed that are based on your initiative. So everything will be seamlessly integrated. And let's start with the demo. I will start with Autopilot. Indeed, I will paste here our abstract. If you have the file, as I mentioned, you can actually upload a file too. I paste the abstract, and once I'm done with that, I can click on Launch. By clicking on Launch, that is actually where our AI will start screening millions and millions of data nodes in order to identify companies, organizations, entities, as I mentioned before, that already have an interest in speaking with you about this specific initiative that you're working on. Now, very briefly on the algorithm and our sources. So first, big disclaimer, which is very important, I know, for the European market. I've been speaking with, indeed, many universities in Europe, in the EMEA content, in the last months. And one of the main worries and one of the main concerns is indeed data protection. Everything that you input in First Ignite will stay always 100% confidential. Our algorithm is 100% confidential, meaning that it would never be trained, will never train algorithm or models based on your inputs. They will always stay protected and isolated in a private instance of First Ignite in a European server, indeed, if you're a European entity. That's a very important disclaimer. And then on the sources and how the algorithm works and what it's doing right now, basically for sources, First Ignite has access to everything that is public on the internet, meaning that every organization with a digital footprint is also within First Ignite, 100%. On top of that, in order to enrich our data pools, we also integrate with private databases to fetch information about more and more business areas, investments, scientific publications, peer-reviewed journals and newspapers, patents, alumni, and so on. This enables our AI to look into all the historical data of organizations and identify synergies between our initiative and companies that indeed already have a potential interest in working with you on the initiative that we input, as in this case, an abstract, as indeed as an input for our autopilot tool. As you can see, while I was speaking, 40 seconds, we have a full marketing campaign with companies, people, market reports, and summary. I will start with the companies tab. I'm reading the chat, so if you want to ask anything specific, please feel free to drop a comment in the chat. So in the companies, indeed, you can find a series of potential partners for your initiatives. For example, here, this one in the United Kingdom with 91 employees is a very good example showing how First Ignite can identify not only big players or very well-known industries, very well-known corporate, but also companies that are niche and with vertical synergy with our solution. This one in Switzerland, also a good example. For example, let's just click on this company here, and we'll see that indeed for each organization within First Ignite, everything will be always fully interactive. Basically, we get a description of what they do here at the top, that also the location, the number of employees. You can also see the establishment here, the annual revenue, and also by scrolling down, you can also see in the news section, basically all news that could be relevant for your initiative in terms. Yes. Tanya, thank you so much for the question. It does understand also other languages, so the input can actually be in every language possible. You can type in whatever language, the abstract could be in every language. All the documents can also be in every language, not only European languages, but if you have something in Japanese, you also you also can upload it there, and our AI will understand and create marketing campaigns based on that. Thank you for the question. Then moving on with the demo here, we also have competitors, very straightforward here. You can find a list of other organizations operating in the same field of the one that we selected. Indeed, we can see different sizes here. Everything is always fully interactive. That's what matters. You can find all the information about these companies too, that indeed represent even more potential partners for you. Then, very important for all of you, of course, like if you work with research collaboration, tech transfer, you know how important a knowledge transfer, how important it is to identify an organization, an ideal partner for your solution. But at the same time, how even more important, crucial is identifying the right people to speak to within that organization. For every entity within First Ignite, you have a people tab where all the employees of that company will be displayed. You see a list of these employees here. For each of them, there's always a LinkedIn information. We have all LinkedIn data and functionalities within First Ignite. And on top of that, we also enrich our data pool by screening the internet. Basically, we'll get all the public, reliable, available corporate emails of the internet from sources like Rocketreach, ZoomInfo, companies' websites, professional websites. In total, we have over than 260 million professional contacts in First Ignite nowadays, which makes it a very interesting and complete data pool. You can filter through this with leadership, recruitment, or more specific job titles if you know them already, if you have a specific target. You can also use our AI to auto-prospect and identify the most indicated people for you to speak to based on your initiative. I will come back to this people section in a minute to show you an even more specific and more automated approach for the outreach. Now I want to focus on this overview section because indeed, I don't know if any of you since I started the demo ever wondered, okay, but why this company is a good match for our initiative? Everything looks nice, but how do I know that actually they could be interested in what we're doing? You go to the overview section and you will basically find all the answers to these kind of questions. The overview section will actually tell you why this company is a good match. Literally describing what are the synergies between our technology of our initiative that we based at the beginning, and these companies' research practice, these companies' business, investments, or products, depending indeed on what is the synergy that our AI identify. But scrolling down, you can also see products. In these tabs, indeed, our AI will display all the products from this company that are relevant, synergetic. Again, always fully tailored to the initiative that we input at the beginning. All these products are synergetic with it, and you can leverage this information in your discussions with these companies in order to already create that synergy, create that bridge with them, and enhance the possibilities of creating a collaboration. Then by scrolling down, you can also see a criteria breakdown. For those ones that indeed spoke with me or seen a demo of First Ignite last year, this is a quite new implementation that we did at First Ignite to give you even more information about the matching. So we have a criteria breakdown where you can find the technology alignment, with all the evidence and all the sources that our AI use in order to identify what's the alignment indeed in terms of technology between our initiative and these companies' technology. Then R&D investment is the same. It's another criteria that is used. Here you can indeed find all the evidence in that and links as well. The focus here, of course, will be more what is the spending of this company in R&D investment in the same innovation space of our initiative. So basically, in this first part, First Ignite will provide you with a list of ideal partners, all the employees of these organizations, and also all the relevant information for you to know in order to ease and facilitate the creation of collaboration with these companies. Perfect. So this is the first part. If there are any questions, I'm taking a look at the chat, so please feel free to drop any questions if you have any. In the meantime, I can also show you how flexible the platform is, because if you wonder, okay, but I just want to see partners, for example, the UK or in Germany, you can definitely do that, or in specific city or other countries within Europe, anywhere in the world, you can always click on add companies. Let me show that again for you. I click on add companies, and I can indeed have this pop-up with company search where I have access to my prompt, my abstract. Once again, I can add all the information here, maybe after aligning with the researcher and getting an understanding of what his preferred target is in terms of technology, in terms of companies that we want to target. I can filter on location. I can put, for example, Germany. I can filter on company size. I can filter on the revenue. I can filter on the intent of the partners of my search. Indeed, I believe maybe the most common use case in this room would be licensing, but you can also do sponsoring research. You can do philanthropy. You can do fundraising if you're supporting spin-out startups, the creation of a lab, anything. So it's a very, very flexible solution. And indeed, you can also filter on organization type if any of you need to look for foundation, no profits, and so on. So this is how it looks like. And now it's running another deep search within Germany only to identify even more potential partners only in Germany. But as I mentioned at the beginning, this could be even more focused, maybe on a city, maybe on a geographical area, and so on. Let's give it a bit of time. In the meantime, I will get a sip of water. I see Noemi is typing a question. What differentiates the information you can find here compared to other AI tools in particular? So there are many differences between First Ignite AI and other AI tools. I will try to keep it brief, but indeed, one of the main differences is data. As I mentioned before, we don't only get all the information about public information in the internet, but we also get all the other information from private databases that we integrate with. And later I'm going to show you the tech assessment tool, and where you will see where the value that these private databases offer, they provide to First Ignite. But even here in Autopilot, indeed, you use a combination of both public and private sources. Main difference. Second main difference is the confidentiality. You will be able to use First Ignite not only with protected technologies innovation, but also with innovation disclosure. So we work for 7 years with research all over the world. So for us, it's not only a feature, this confidentiality thing, but also a big priority. Then other big differences are indeed the fact that you can only paste an abstract or update a technical document, and all this marketing campaign will be produced in few seconds for you without reiterating prompting, without needing to tell what's the structure of the output that you would like to achieve. Here you would get a clear representation of the tech transfer, research commercialization, research collaboration workflows. So these are the main differences. but then of course the completeness of the platform. I'm just showing you 15% of our software. Indeed, we also have all these other tools that I can show you later. But thank you for the question, Noemi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the question. Indeed, as you see from my screen, what I was replying to Noemi, you can see that indeed we were populating other results within Germany. So the platform is extremely flexible and you can adapt it to every location, every needs that you have, any initiative, any innovation space that you need to cover. Then moving towards the right, we have the people section. As I mentioned, I will come back to this people topic because indeed our AI already identifies all the top people for you to speak to among all these companies. So the most indicated people indeed for you to reach out to and engage about the potential collaboration. You can see that indeed all of them are always the LinkedIn profile and also the email. And if I click, for example, on Matthias, we're going to see that even here, our software is fully interactive, giving you all this information about each of these individuals. Spotlight section, basically including a summary of his professional experience, the education, and so on. But most importantly, on the right, you have a ready drafted email. This email is fully personalized for Matthias. In this case, of course, he's taking into account the initiative that we pasted at the beginning, clearly referenced here, but also taking into account all the information about Matthias, his title, the company works for, and so on. You can, for example, imagine that indeed you're based, I don't know, in Italy or Spain, and you're reaching out to someone in English. You can draft this in English directly, or you can switch languages very easily, clicking on it. If you're reaching to a French company, enhancing the chances of getting in touch with them. This content here can also be fully edited, like modified as you prefer, before you send the email through our software First Ignite, or you can also copy paste your Outlook or Gmail. Another thing that you can personalize is actually the template, because you can use a technology transfer sample or the standards, all the standard templates that we offer, but you can also create your own template itself by creating that with any kind of languages that you can think of, using AI, using variables. Then our First Ignite AI will fill that template in with all the information about the initiative that you're working on and all the information about the person that you're reaching out to. Very important here, another competitive advantage that First Ignite has, we also have a cross-checking algorithm. All the emails that you will find in this email section are 100% correct, meaning that our AI cross-check these emails with other outbound tools, for example, like Apollo, HubSpot, Salesforce, making sure that indeed if you want to reach out to all these individuals, you can do that one by one, or you can also do a bulk email, meaning that you will reach out to all these individuals at the same time. And of course, for each of them, there's going to be a fully personalized email. Perfect. As you could see here, maybe it's a good spot also to introduce our CRM. Indeed, as you can see, I can send all these contacts to our CRM as well. I will spend like a very short time on the CRM because we just did a webinar on it. I don't know if you had time to attend it, but indeed our CRM, we launched it, I believe last week, not many days ago. It's quite new, but it's very powerful because it's AI-based and is also fully integrated with this proactive business development tool that I'm showing you right now. So just imagine you can create all these contacts, all these opportunities, all these deals within First Ignite, and then you can sync those directly in the CRM. And this is our CRM. Let me just log into it. And indeed, you can see a home where you can see a classic dashboard. You can see companies. In this case, I don't have any companies. So a proposal. So here you can create new deals. As a classic, indeed, you can create new deals. You can indeed type whatever you prefer, select owners, of course, and you can play around. Indeed, this is the classic, and it's based on AI. What matters is that it's based on AI, so it's a classic standard CRM with AI behind it. So the added value here is indeed the fact that you have a personal assistant within the CRM. You can ask anything. Basically, you wake up on Monday morning and you can ask the CRM, hey, what are my follow-ups today? What I need to follow up on? What is the state of this deal? And so on. This is a bit the added value here. It's not just a CRM, it's a personal AI assistant that is fully integrated to this business development proactive tool that I'm just showing you right here. So it will be a seamless workflow from creating opportunities, contacts, and deals to tracking them and also building reports on that, because indeed you also have a reports app where you can create all your pipeline graphs here, win and loss distribution, value by stage, and so on. Perfect. Then let's move on from the people tab. If there are no questions about these two tools here, I will go to the summary section. This is a very common use case for tech transfer offices as well. Indeed, we have a summary. Basically, this is the marketing one-pager that most tech transfer offices among universities and research centers need to create, starting from a patent, basically taking all the technical information and translating that into commercial information. In this case, as an input, we had an abstract, but let's just imagine that we uploaded a 200 pages technical document that we need to commercialize. Our AI will take that information, translate that into commercial language, as I mentioned, with an executive statement, the description, the key advantages of our initiative, the problem it solves, and the market applications. As you can see, very straightforward, very simple, but very, very useful to save a lot of time and to educate the contacts we identified through First United, and also involve them in the initiative that we're working on. You can modify these as you prefer. Of course, it's fully editable. You can modify it as for the emails that I showed you before. You can also create other templates that can be used. This is a template that we created with our over 190, almost 200 partners all over the world for tech transfer. And here, again, languages are fully available. Indeed, you can use all the kind of languages that you want. You can translate this in this marketing one pager in every language before sending it as PDF, HTML, or text. Then last piece of Autopilot is this market reports. This is another matching tool, but in this case, we don't have a matching between our initiative and companies, but we have a matching between our initiative and potential market applications for our solution, for our technology. For all of these markets, we have a description of the market itself, the market size, the growth rate, the challenges and opportunities that we would encounter by entering this market with our initiative. You can see the growth, you can see the segments, which I can show very briefly to understand the structure of the market itself, and then companies, of course. So here you get the top companies operating in this market with the big players, as you can see, but you also can see niche companies, so smaller companies that operate in the same field. For example, this one in the United Kingdom, everything is fully interactive. So by clicking on it, indeed, you can find all the contacts of these companies here too, in order to reach out and speak about a potential collaboration. So just to close up on the Autopilot tool, this is a very powerful brainstorming tool in order to identify potential market applications and at the same time, potential interested partners within those markets. Perfect. I see we have a question from Tanya. Can I use it for non-tech innovations and collaborations with NGOs or other organizations? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, indeed. As I showed at the beginning, Tanya, let me show that again for you. If I go to add companies here, we have the Run for Germany, but the input here, the abstract that I pasted, it could be anything else. It could be a description of maybe like politics or social in research, or it could be anything, like even a description of an event, everything. This is AI. So the input that you give here, the information you give to the artificial intelligence is very, very up to you. You can actually tell the artificial intelligence whatever you prefer, depending on what you want to achieve and what you're working on. And then you can also filter on foundation. By filtering on foundation, you will identify NGOs, no-profit organizations. Also, you can click on philanthropy if you're focused on maybe looking for donators and so on. So that is definitely possible. We work with the World Bank as well. Just to give you some references, we don't only work with, let's say, tech universities or research organizations. We work with the World Bank. We work with LSE in the UK, which is also a very good example because indeed they use our software to work on research that is more political, more social, and identifying potential partners for it. Thank you so much for the question. Great question. Perfect. Then we still have 25 minutes left. I would like to show you maybe very briefly dashboard and then close with tech assessment, which I believe indeed are very important tools for any research collaboration teams and specifically for tech transfer, knowledge transfer. So here in the dashboard tool, let's see dashboard as a window on the global research practice. Basically, you can find all the trends. You can use this for scouting. You can find all the information about what research organizations all over the world are working on nowadays. And as you can see, I can filter by institution name. I already put the name of one of our partners, King's College London here. but I can actually put the name of any universities, any research center. So your university, definitely, you can find that in dashboard in First Ignite, and you can also screen through that by topics. So and you can select the time frame. So it could be days, it can be years, it could be months, it could be all time, or you can also scroll down and can see what our AI pulled up for you. Basically, you will find a representation of everything that is going on within the last 6 months at King's College, in this case, because I selected King's College, but it could be your university, and of course, it will adapt to your research practice. Why is this tool useful? This tool is very useful because it allows you to identify potential synergies with companies that want to collaborate with you. So industry or even other research organizations, other universities, to speak about collaborations, co-development, and so on. Basically, it will ease all that aspect of speaking with all the research departments in order to identify, to understand what they're working on. Here, you don't need to do that back and forth communication anymore. Basically, by just selecting your institute, you will understand everything that is going on, and it will be much easier to identify synergies with other external organizations. By clicking on each of these bubbles as well, you can find the overview section with the activity, the value, the opportunity that these represent, the works as well, which are indeed all the different publications from your university within the last 6 months in this case. Then you can see also the authors that contributed the most to this specific area, research area in the last 6 months. And you can find also the markets. This is the same interface I showed you before with a specific focus for for this specific area that we selected instead of being focused on a specific initiative. Then going back, we can also see the top authors, which is also another pretty interesting use case. You can track the most active authors within your university for the last 6 months, or as I mentioned, you can also change the time frame. It can be even years. And for each of these individuals, you can click on their profile, you can see their email, you can see a description of what they do. You can also see below a representation, a cluster representation of their all-time publications. Basically, this is the lifetime representation of the lifetime publications of this individual. You can also access that in a more, let's say, database way, where you can find all the publications and filter through it with all these filters. Perfect. If there are any questions, as I mentioned before, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and I would read through it, and I will be happy to answer. Otherwise, I will continue with the tech assessment. Tech assessment, it's a very interesting tool that indeed helps you prioritize your portfolios, initiative portfolios, patents portfolio. We have a couple of modes. We have a quick mode and an advanced mode. Advanced mode, we offer, for example, commercialization process is very specific to tech transfer or a patent evaluation for patentability. The most used one by our partners is quick mode, and indeed we received very, very good feedback from our partners lately. We just released a new batch of tech assessment in January 2026. One of these ones is Max Planck Society in Germany. They use this tool in order to prioritize their patents and initiative portfolios in order to understand how to allocate their capacity and efforts. Let me show you how it works by taking indeed again our abstract, but again here you can use this with any kind of initiative, any kind of initiatives descriptions as well in every innovation field. And then you can add all the supporting documents. Here, technical documents are very, very well accepted. Indeed, the more information you will give to the artificial intelligence, the better will be the output. The more specific will be the output for your initiative and needs. And you can also select the research speed. We always recommend selecting the quality research. It takes 20 minutes, as you can see. So it takes a while, but we do this because this search basically involves multiple deep search, AI deep searches, in order to provide only qualitative and specific results to your initiative. You click on generate report. I'm not going to do this live because indeed it will take a little longer, but I already prepared the analysis here before our webinar, and indeed we have a strategic analysis with an overall score. Now, what is this overall score? This is the classic go-no-go score. Basically, we'll tell you, does it make sense to continue working on this initiative? Yes or no. Continue investing on it as well. And then on the right, you have the categories that our AI use in order to evaluate that, to do this analysis. You have the market potential. Starting from this one, you can click on read more, and indeed you will get more and more information. A lot of insights about your initiative in terms of market potential, with the key strengths telling you large and growing market base, compelling workflow integration, limitation and challenges. Of course, here talking about more like a negative aspects, but for example, competitive landscape challenges, market adoption and monetization complexity. So basically giving you all the insights that are relevant for you to take informed decision on the commercialization strategy for your initiative. And if you wonder where all this information come from, you can actually see the analysis of our AI with all the questions that asked itself and the answers to that. Basically, also providing you with all the references. Very important piece of First Ignite is that our AI is not only confidential, but also we always provide you with the reasoning, the explanation to the matching, and to the information that provides you with, and also all the sources. So this is a lot the usage of the platform itself. Same thing for patentability. So of course, for patentability, the focus will be more on prior art, novelty, non-obviousness. We always have key strengths, and also limitation and challenges. As I mentioned before, you will find prior art constraints, for example, limiting patentability, and giving you all the sources as well, providing you links to, for example, patents and so on, so that you understand what's the potential of patentability for this specific initiative here, and then you can decide on the patent claim strategy. And always the goal here is to provide you with all the information and insights for you to have informed and take the informed decision on the patentability strategy too. Again, if you wonder where all this information come from, you always find all the analysis, the questions and answers and references here. Then we have a couple of extra categories here: resource requirements and technical feasibility. These are very relevant for maybe when you're working on a spin out, or you're working on a specific startup within your university or research center. Here you get information about the feasibility, the human resources, the high financial investment that is needed. So actually how we can carry out this initiative, and what are the risks, what are the limitations, what are the pros of carrying it out. So basically, just to wrap up on tech assessment, as I said right at the beginning, this is also a very, very good tool that would enable you to understand how to prioritize your efforts on your research portfolio. Any questions regarding this tool here, dashboard, or any other tools that we've seen so far? I will try to keep the conversation as interactive as possible, so feel free, please, to type any questions in the chat, and I will read them. I see Nicole is typing, so please. How safe is the tech assessment, Nicola asks? So that's a very good question. As I mentioned, we have very good references from our partners, as I mentioned, Max Planck Society. We also have some players in Spain and UK that are using heavily our tech assessment in order to prioritize their portfolio. It's very safe. To be very honest, it's very, very safe, because as I mentioned right at the beginning, if you remember here when I showed how we can create these, we have different speeds. So usually, if you're familiar with AI, you know AI, it's famous to be fast. But our quality research takes 20 minutes. Basically here, it's multiple deep searches, always cross-checking sources, fact-checking algorithms. So here we always check all the sources that are used, of course, in terms of public and private, of course. So we don't take into account, for example, very for example, like forums like Reddit will never be one of our sources. And also always cross-checking that information, how relevant is for the initiative that we input at the beginning. So it's very, very reliable. We always recommend using the quality research to get the most reliable results that you can get. These two are also reliable, but of course, the quality of the output will be less accurate for the initiative that we input at the beginning. Thank you for the question, Nicole. I see Matthew's typing, so we'll probably have another question soon. And Katya too. So I will wait a bit for the questions to answer, and then I will show you our new agents, and probably touching also on alumni search, which is pretty interesting. You can actually, if you want to type in the chat what you would like to see, would you like to see better the agent? Would you like to stay on these or some tools? So Kathy is asking, what about the confidential status in this very early stage of an invention? That's also a very good question. So our AI is 100% confidential. There is no risk at all, indeed, in uploading your documents in First Ignite, or even describing an initiative in here. There is no risk. This is one of the main competitive advantage that we have. Indeed, we are fully compliant with GDPR. Our DPA is being indeed assessed, and by leading research centers and universities across Europe. Our AI is confidential. Basically, everything that you upload here will only be used as a source to provide you with these outputs. Will never be used to train the algorithm or models. Therefore, it will never become public. It will only stay in a private instance of First Unite for your team only. So basically, you will be the only one knowing and indeed having access to the inputs in terms of documents or texts, and it will be saved in a European server. So this is very important. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's not just a feature that First Unite offers you, but it's a priority to keep working, to work in the research field. Perfect. If there are no other questions, I will probably go to showing you Matthew. This is when we'll explore emerging trends across European institutions and discuss how AI can help research and innovation teams strengthen partnership and drive greater real-world impact. Most of the focus seems to have been on a demo of First Unite. Might you be able to say anything about the trends, more broadly? Yes, absolutely. So in terms of trends, Matthew, thank you so much for the question and bringing this up. Indeed, as I mentioned right at the beginning, and I apologize to everyone again for being late, and we have some technical issues. The trends that are affecting indeed like a knowledge transfer, tech transfer, we see from our perspective, of course, we are an AI company operating in this field. What we see that most institutions, most research organizations, even with a large research practice with a big volume, they struggle to bring and their research outputs to the market. Most of them, they rely on their network, researchers network, or just on events, and they do all these activities that I just showed you, for example, from the autopilot, identifying potential licensees, potential companies to work with, or the tech assessment, identifying the market potential, identifying the patentability. They do that manually, basically relying on Google searches or just relying on LinkedIn to identify manually potential contacts. First Unite AI, and indeed AI in general, if you want to see it like that, but we like to speak about our AI indeed because we are leading AI system and software within the tech transfer, knowledge transfer field in Europe, in US, and globally as well. What we do is streamlining all these manual activities because we believe that indeed European research has a is way bigger potential compared to what it has right now. There are a lot of industry, there are a lot of companies that have interest in updating their technology, in using the technology that is produced in research centers and research around Europe. But most of the teams across tech transfer and knowledge transfer, instead of using their expertise and knowledge to create this collaboration, they don't have the right tools to do so. And maybe they're spending too much time on these manual activities that could be, for example, as I mentioned before, patentability analysis or identifying the right persons to speak to, the right companies to speak to, or only relying to the networks and missing out on opportunities with other companies that will be even more aligned compared to the companies that you already know. So First Unite goal is to streamline all these activities to save you time and enable you to spend that time on more value-added activities, more human-centered activities. So sitting on those calls, creating those collaboration, bringing revenue to your organization. I hope Matthew, I answered your questions. I would have spent more time on this part right at the beginning of the webinar, but indeed, due to technical issues, I couldn't focus on that too much. Thank you very much, Matthew. I really appreciate your comment. So we have 10 minutes left. I don't want to share too much information with you, but indeed, I would like to show you another tool that we just released. It's Agents. So if you found everything that we showed you so far interesting, I would also like to introduce you to Agent. This is our new tool that we released in December. So basically, this is being used by mostly big organization with a large volume of research, but even small organization that don't have the capacity to stay after the production from the research teams, the research departments within their university, which is a very common use case within Spain, Italy. I cover all markets in Europe, so I know the struggles of each market. This tool can be very interesting for automating even more those manual activities, specifically those ones that are carried out within Autopilot, the first tool that I showed you. Indeed, here, as you can see, you can create a campaign using an agent. This is agentic AI, so you can actually tell the AI as you can see here from a scheme, schedule meetings with pharmaceutical companies interested in our initiative. Or, of course, this is just an example. You can type whatever you prefer here. You can actually upload your documents. So basically, if you have a patent, a technical document, you're free to upload it here. As I mentioned at the beginning, the more information we will provide with to our AI, the more specific will be the outcomes. And then you can also click on the job titles. So, okay, I have my initiative. This is my goal. These are my target job titles. Are the companies that I want to reach out to. So, sorry, these are the roles that I want to reach out to: product manager, director of R&D, innovation managers at these companies. These companies, describing the companies or giving an example of the companies. You can type in names. You can type in a description of the companies you want to reach out to. You can also specify the email type. You can use your templates, or you can rely on our AI personalized templates. You can exclude countries. What matters though is that once you're done giving your inputs to the AI, you can click on build campaign, and our agent will start screening, basically, as I mentioned before, all private and public sources that we have in order to create marketing campaigns. And these are all marketing campaigns that we've been running. I can show you a quick example. For example, I can click on this one. What our AI does basically is prospecting on your behalf. So as I mentioned, if you have too large volume or you don't have time to do this, this is a very nice tool to have. Basically, you can see the analytics. So with the total contacts, replies, meeting books, and so on. So a couple of graphs here. You can do. This is very important actually, because like if you want the agent to actually send the emails out, this is fully autonomous. It's like an intern, a person working for you booking meetings. They can be co-pilots, so you can draft. It's gonna draft the emails and you can review them and you can approve them before they're sent. And indeed, like you can also add manual review, which is the standard setting, or actually they can automatically add if you fully trust the agent itself. So you can actually control that. But the important piece is that, for example, here you see these are all the companies that this agent campaign identified automatically based on your technical document or your description, and also the input that you gave in terms of target, in terms of role, in terms of companies. All these different companies with always the explanation, always the match. And indeed, as you can see, I can approve this company or I can reject this company if I don't like it, if I'm not interested into it for our initiative. And then same thing for the contacts. Of course, here, same thing for the contacts. These are all associate vice president, for example, executive director, technology transfer. So these are all great contacts that our AI identified autonomously for you. You can approve and then send email through the agent or manually as you prefer. But basically, just propping up on the agent. So this is another tool that we're offering to our partners. It's even more automated than the agent, the autopilot, the software as a service, which is the first tool that I showed you. It would enable you to basically outsource the full prospecting part of your job and just sit on those meetings that the agent books on your behalf in order to speak with the licensees, companies that are interested in collaborating with you, and speak about the collaboration and sell technology or create collaboration or co-development, anything that indeed it's your main focus. Perfect. Are there any questions regarding agents or in general about First Ignite? Everything is clear for everyone? Curiosities? Amir is typing. Thank you so much. Well, perfect. So also to keep you posted, we are also releasing a funding tool basically for all of you that need to do like funding search, looking for Europe Horizon grants, UK Innovate grants, or even national grants. We also releasing a new tool for funding. Basically, it's going to be based on AI. So you can describe what you're looking for, and our AI will automatically identify those grants for you, and you can directly apply from First Ignite. So this is another tool that we release in a few days. So please stay tuned, and if you're interested, please feel free to book a demo with us. We will be very happy to guide you through a tailored demo for your university, for your research center, see your specific use cases, and indeed speak about a potential collaboration. I will drop in the chat my Calendly link. So if you want indeed to book a meeting directly with me and go through more specific questions, curiosities, please feel free to do so. I will drop it right now, and then we can end this session, unless if there are any questions. I thank you so much for your time. Apologies again for the delay at the beginning of the webinar, but I really appreciate the interactive demo, all your attention, all the questions. Thank you so much, and wishing you all of you a great day and a great week. Many thanks, Matthew. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Miriam, Alessandra. Thank you, Christina, Noemi. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Viz. Thank you, Antonis. Thank you, Tanya. We had a big crowd today. Really, really, really appreciate it. Bye, Pia. Thank you for attending. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.